Hi, brand builders. It's been a long time. I haven't made a video the past couple of months. Several things, been extremely busy. Things are getting back to normal. So lots and lots of projects to work on. And also a general lack of motivation to create videos, to be really honest. On the one hand, there's a lot of work. And then on the other hand, it's like, sometimes you run out of steam, you run out of topics. Last year, I made a video every single day for, I don't know, it was 100 days, I think, initially. And then I tried to keep up the pace. But towards the end of the year and then the beginning of this year, I did try and get back into the game. But a couple of months back, I just lost interest. I feel like I'm getting back. So if you've been a long time subscriber to our channel and you haven't seen videos in the last couple of months, I do apologize. Also a couple of series, I think I left them in the middle. I was doing a series on the audience journey. And I think I stopped at step 7 or something like that. I have finished filming those. I just need to edit and put them up. So please bear with me. Today, I just wanted to get back in without, a lot of hullabulla, without a lot of ceremony, if you know what I mean. So I also want to make these videos more casual. I want to be able to just speak my mind. I'm going to spend very little time on editing or, bells and whistles, images and things like that. But I might be sharing my screen like I will today. So anyway, enough of this explanation. Let's just jump straight in. Okay, so today's topic is how to increase the value of your product or service. So I wrote a really lengthy post the other day, and I thought it's a great topic to sort of create a video around it. Now, of course, I will leave a link below in the description to this post so you can read it in detail. But what I'm going to do is share the screen, show you that article, and then just touch on the main important points and give a few more insights. All right, so let's jump in. This is it, how to increase the value of your product or service. Now, you do know that most products, most services, it's all perceived value, right? I mean, what is value? One person might put a value on something that another person might not, right? For someone, they have an iPhone and they might not, be bothered spending $1,200 on that. Another person might look at an iPhone and say, $1,200 for a phone is ridiculous, right? So value is really subjective. It's also based on perception. And that's what I talk about in the first part of this article when I say value is based on perception. And I give the example of this wine tasting where there was a research done. It was posted on Wine Economics, and it's titled, "Do More Expensive Wines Taste Better? Evidence from a Large Sample of Blind Tastings." Okay, so this concept of perceived value is very important. You need to understand that if you want your business to succeed, because value is based on perception. And that perception can be tangible or intangible, right? So in terms of this wine tasting or this wine research paper, what it says is that they conducted about 600 different blind tastings, and they had a ton of different people from different walks of life, people who knew wine, people who loved wine, people who didn't really care about wine, right? First time. And there were also a few people who were tasting it for the first time, even though, of course, they did taste alcohol before. What this research paper found was that the price was directly correlated to the perception of taste. So when they were, shown 2 glasses of wine, and no labels, nothing. And then they tasted them. A set of people were asked which one tasted better. So let's say they picked A versus B. And then they were told to another set that glass A was an expensive bottle of wine, $200 bottle of wine. And glass B was a $20 bottle of wine. And most of the time, people found glass A to be better. It tasted better, it smelled better. But in fact, the opposite was true. The glass A was the cheaper wine. So what's happening there? It is this psychology of perceived value. When people look at a product or service and it's expensive, they'll automatically assume that it is better, right? And this is very important also for you when you're pricing your products and services. So if you're trying to compete in the marketplace and you're finding it difficult, and you're finding it difficult to gain any market share or even to penetrate a new market, then reducing the prices, trying to play the price wars is not what you need to do. It's detrimental to your brand. It's not going to give you success. You may have a few sales in the beginning, but it's going to end up hurting you. It's because, okay, it's a vicious cycle. You reduce the price and then you get a few sales, but because you reduce the price, you don't get much profit. So you can't put that profit back into the company, also sustaining yourself and your expenses, paying yourselves, paying your staff, whatever. And then because you're not putting profit back into the business, you're not developing your brand, you're not developing your products. So the quality probably just remains the same, or maybe even goes down. And then your competition looks at you, and then your competitors say, okay, let's reduce prices less than your brand, right? And then you look at them and then you need to reduce. It's a vicious cycle. Don't fall into that. I know it's easier said than done. It's difficult to get sales. It's difficult to get sales in a noisy market. But do not go down the route of reducing prices, offering discounts. You can offer discounts with a strategic plan. You can offer discounts when it makes sense, but not just to drum up sales. Okay, anyway, so this point, value is based on perception and expensive. Now you might say, well, you know what? Okay, so we increase the prices, we don't get any takers. What happens? Well, increasing the prices is not an isolated step. It's not just you wake up and say, okay, let me. No, it has to be part of a bigger strategy. Okay, anyway, let's get back to this, to my post and see what else. Okay, so this is what I talked about in terms of, in terms of increase the perceived value of pricing. So what brand elements determine a higher perceived value? A solid brand name, a well thought out brand story and message framework, a beautifully designed logo and brand identity. Let me just, expand that. An elegant and modern website design, a set of properly optimized and active social media channels, a properly designed packaging design. Okay, so these are, and more. These are some of the brand elements that determine a higher perceived value. So a brand name, yes. Okay, let's talk about brand name for just a second. Brand names are important. Brand names, general brand names made up of common words used to work 4 or 5 years ago. Right now, the marketplace is so noisy. Everybody, people working out of their bedrooms are doing a great job at branding. I mean, if you go to some of the YouTube channels and you check out their not only their channels, but then you go and check out their websites, and it's one single person working from their bedroom. But the level, the quality of the visuals, the website design and their logo and their colors, the typography, it's just so awesome, right? So if you want to compete in this noisy marketplace, the first thing that can really make a huge difference is your brand name. It has to be chosen carefully. It has to reflect at least a portion of the meaning of your brand and so on. What about a brand story and messaging framework? Oh my God, I can't tell you how important your brand story is. Of course, if you've been watching my channel for any length of time, you will see that I keep harping on about brand story. I have really beaten it to the ground. And I will repeat it again because it is worth repeating. Your brand story is very important. And again, like in every other video, I say that your origin story is not your brand story. So how you came up with this product, why you came up with this product. No, yes, you need to have your origin story. It should form a part of your messaging, but a brand story is completely different. Your brand story is based on your audience and aligning with their worldview, right? So you need to build your audience persona using archetypes. Then you need to build your brand persona using your brand archetype that aligns with your audience archetype. And that will then give you a path to figure out a brand story. Now, I don't want to spend too much time talking about the brand story in this video because I've done a ton of videos on that. You can check out my channel. You will find at least 5 different videos talking about brand story. All right, a beautifully designed logo design and brand identity, very, very critical. And I talk about it in this video, but let me just, in this post, but let me say that most people try and spend the least amount of money they can on their brand identity, on their logo design. They try and find the cheapest design resource. They go to places like Fiverr or, just search on Google and say cheap logo design or something like that. Now, I've done videos in the past about cheap logo designs and I've written a ton of articles. So I'm not going to repeat much here, but I will say this. The money you spend on your logo design and brand identity is an investment. It is not an expense. It is not wasted. It is an investment, and the return on investment is massive. It's massive for building your brand. It's massive for connecting with your audience. It is massive for turning those audience into your customers that will result in sales and revenue. I cannot emphasize this. Anymore because any more than I'm already doing, because it is the thing that people look down as expense. People, business owners, I've seen business owners spend more money on their office launch party than on their logo design. There are big brands out there that have shitty logos, right? And you might say, well, if they're big brands, they have shitty logos, what's the harm? The harm is the opportunity cost, right? What is the money you're leaving on the table? What is the opportunity cost of having a shitty logo or a terrible brand identity? What is the opportunity cost? Let's say you're making $100,000 a year, right? And you have a terrible logo. $100,000 is good. Well, you could be making more. And you might say, well, you know what? I don't need a better logo. I don't need to spend money on this logo. I'm making a good amount of money. Yes, but what is the opportunity cost? What are you leaving on the table? Could you have been making $200,000, $250,000? Then your question is, are you telling me that you could double your sales with your logo? That's not what I'm saying. Your logo, spending money on your logo, on your brand identity, creates this catalyst to help you awaken your brand, to think more in terms of a brand context rather than just a graphic design, right? Okay, anyway, see, I'm getting carried away because I get really angry when people, look at logo and brand identity as an expense or even waste. And then, so anyway, Um, okay. An elegant and modern website design. The same thing applies to that. Don't try to go for the cheapest website. Don't use free templates and, and then complain about not getting sales down the line. If your website plays a part, and nowadays, which business does not, right? I mean, what sector do you find out there that does not benefit in terms of sales and revenue from a website, right? Every single sector needs a website. So if you don't have the money to spend on a website, I can understand that. But look at it, do an audit. Where are you spending your money, right? You might be spending money on Google AdWords, for example, and not getting the results. That's because you have a shitty logo and maybe even a shittier website. I'm sorry for using French, but it is quite obvious, right? It is quite obvious. So stop spending money on useless AdWords, Facebook advertising, whatever. First, work on the fundamentals. Spend your money on the fundamentals. If you're going to be taking out a loan, spend it on the fundamentals, not on marketing. At least in the beginning, or at least if you don't have a good brand identity. Once you have that, once you have a strategy in place, once you have a positioning strategy in place, once you have marketing in place, then start spending money on advertising, right? Okay. Social media channels and all these things. So why brand strategy is important? At the core of all successful brands that move away from the red ocean and into the blue ocean is a solid and well thought out brand strategy, right? Okay. So let's talk about what this means. I'm saying that it is strange and funny that most business owners do not understand and invest in brand strategy. This is the one thing that will set them on a path to success. And I'm not kidding. It's very, very critical that you understand this. Of course, most business owners do not even have an idea of brand strategy is all about. Couple that with the internet full of misinformation on this topic, it is little surprise that business owners hardly spend any money on increasing the perceived value of their brand. Okay, most businesses try and spend the least amount on making their brand look and feel good. So, what am I saying here? I'm saying that your brand strategy is fundamental to increasing the perceived value of your products, services, your brand, right? So it is very fundamental. And if you don't know what brand strategy is, then you need to educate yourself. So you go to Google and then you start searching. And now, the last couple of years or more, everybody and their dog has been writing about brand strategy. Yes, I write about brand strategy. I've been writing about brand strategy, for over 10 years now. If you go and check out our blog, our Spellbrand blog, you'll see I've been writing about brand strategy, back in 2009, 2008, even before that. Different names. But now, the topic of brand strategy is a cesspool, right? People, business owners, especially content creators, they hire cheap freelance writing resources that charge like, I don't know, $20 a post or an article or something like that. And then they get these topics written and they write about brand strategy and they sort of spread misinformation. Let's talk about what brand strategy is and what brand strategy is not. To understand, brand strategy is the overall plan or roadmap of your brand's meaning and the experience that people will have when they interact with your brand. Brand strategy defines what the brand stands for, its values, its vision, mission, and its brand story. So, in short, brand strategy helps position the brand effectively against the competition and in the minds of the target audience. Brand strategy is not marketing tactics and campaigns. Of course, sometimes the line could be blurry. Most often, marketing strategies, tactics, and campaigns are derived from brand strategy. Brand strategy is not about increasing the sales of a particular product or service. That's very interesting. So brand strategy is not about increasing the sales, believe it or not. If you're looking at something or if someone is telling you a strategy that is about increasing the sales, then that is not brand strategy, right? That could be considered marketing strategy or even a sales strategy. We will talk about that later on, or maybe even in a different video. But let's just first of all understand what brand strategy is not, right? So brand strategy is about increasing the perceived value of your brand, because what happens is, okay, think of it like this, right? Let's say your store or your house, whatever, it's a building, and you want to attract people to come in, and you also want to charge more for your products or services, or it's a restaurant maybe. Your brand strategy is like, now I know this is probably not such a great example, but just hear me out. It's like the front of your store or your house. Imagine if it's dilapidated, right? It's there's cracks on the walls, the paint is falling off, there's moss, there's some weeds growing in front of the store. It's dirty, and it has a broken sign that's cracked, it's hanging. Do you think it's going to attract people? Do you think people are going to walk in? And even if they do walk in, do you think they will pay a premium price to buy your product or service? No. But imagine a beautiful storefront, fresh paint, branded colors, clever pattern, a beautiful sign, right? And there's a window display. Would it attract people? Of course it would. When they come in, if the store it matches that look and feel, it's got a theme going on, there's a story being told. It's not just clothes you're selling, but you're selling a story there, a lifestyle. Would that then enable people to buy? Yes, of course, they will start buying. Can you charge higher premium prices? Yes, of course. So a brand strategy is like that. You're setting the fundamentals. Now, somebody who's keenly observing or keenly following this video, the narrative in this video might say, hang on, Mash. Just now you said that brand strategy is not about sales. Of course it is not about sales. And then you might say, well, the example you gave, you're talking about the storefront, it's about sales. No, it isn't. Because once they come in, there's a sales process. There's a different sales process. The sales process is about the product. It's about what you're offering. It's about how you're offering it. It's about any discounts you may have. It's about relative price anchoring. There's lots of other things. That is a sales process. Because just because you have a beautiful storefront doesn't mean that people will come in and buy. They may come in, they may look at it. If your pricing is wrong, if your price anchoring is wrong, if your products are not shown in the right way that aligns with what they're looking for. No. Look, Gucci has a beautiful storefront, right? But most people that walk into Gucci don't buy. Louis Vuitton, right? They don't buy. Tiffany, Cartier, they don't buy. Because a beautiful storefront is not about sales. Okay, you get it, right? Okay, so let's look at, right. In fact, if you want your brand to succeed and increase in revenue and profits, start by not focusing on increasing sales or revenue. What? I heard you say. Yes, I will explain. Do not focus on increasing sales or revenue. Now, why do I say that? I say that at least initially when you're in a brand builder mode. So what is this brand builder mode, right? Every business person needs to be a brand builder first and then a marketer next. But if you look around, you will find the reverse is true. And that is one of the main reasons most new businesses fail. Not because of a lack of audience or customer base, not because of their product or services, not even because of lack of marketing. It is because of not being a brand builder. So what is this brand builder? A brand builder is someone whose goal is to create, build, and grow a robust and sustainable brand. Their aim is to create brand recall, loyalty, a community, and a cult-like status for their brand. Right? So I'm saying that you need to not focus on sales or revenue in the beginning. You need to focus on building a brand, and sales and revenue will follow. Okay? So, most business people tend to do is focus on getting sales and revenue before they have set up the right foundations and pillars for their brand. It's like trying to run before you learn to walk. And the result, they stumble and fall, and in some cases with serious injuries. So, what do brand builders do? They obsess on the why of their brands. They try very hard to understand their audience journey to their brand. They seek to clearly define what their brand stands for. They identify noble as well as practical core values. They ensure the core values become the DNA of the brand. They work hard to create and refine their brand purpose. They create an internal brand purpose and a higher purpose goal. They formulate a watertight vision and mission. They establish a robust and blue ocean positioning strategy. They engineer a beautiful and impactful brand visual language. They invest in a modern and powerful website. They spend time, effort, and resources building powerful social media channels. They work diligently on carefully thought out content strategies. They spearhead successful marketing campaigns based on brand strategy. Okay, so I know these are a huge list of things that brand builders do, but I've created videos on most of these. I've written tons of articles on exactly how to do each of these things, right? So check out our blog, and you'll find, links to these different things. So these are the things that brand builders do. Okay, what about people who are not brand builders? What do they do? And these are most of business owners. They do these, they're not brand builders. They do these things, and that's where their brands fail. Let's see. Non-brand builders do the following. They jump into sales mode from day one. They do not think about brand fundamentals. They do not care about the why of their brand. They do not care about core values, except for some words they copy from other brands. They do not have a brand purpose or a higher purpose goal. They have a vision and mission that are purely salesy, sometimes selfish, and very short-term minded. They do not know what a positioning strategy is. They try to spend the least amount on their logo design and brand identity. They get the cheapest website to be their primary sales tool. They do not spend any time, effort, or resources on their social media channels. They do not spend any resources on content strategies. They think that offering discounts and slashing prices are marketing campaigns. 100 more stupid things that undermine their brands. Do you think the above was a little too harsh? Yes, you might think that the last point was a little too harsh. Am I insulting people? Am I insulting you? I'm saying 100 more stupid things that undermine their brands. Well, I'm not insulting you because I'm sure you're a brand builder. Maybe that's why you're even watching this video. But I'm talking about those people who do not care about their brands. They care about their sales and revenue. They're selfish. Now, the thing is this. Yes, of course, your brand exists to make money, to make profits. But if that's the only thing it is, then, you're not going to succeed. And that's where the problem is. And selfish brands never succeed. selfish business owners never succeed. You gotta give value to your audience. You got to build a brand that is based on core values, that has a clearly defined purpose in life, in its life, that has a clear vision and mission. And those are not selfish vision and mission and purpose, but those align with the core audience, right? With the target audience. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I get a little carried away, but that's true. So focus on brand building. From day one, spend time, effort, and resources in building a blue ocean brand. All the investment will give you rewards far beyond your wildest imagination. So try and build a blue ocean brand. I did videos on what a blue ocean brand is. I've written tons of articles on that. Check them out, right? All right. So there's a lot of things on, how you can go to great lengths to ensure you differentiate your brand from the competition beyond the features of your product or service. Differentiate based on a robust brand strategy. Differentiate through an authentic and emotional brand story. Differentiate through connecting with the worldview of your audience and building strong bonds with them, right? So then I go on to talk about how you should, evaluate your brand name, and then how you should do brand archetypes and all that. So how to increase the value of your product or service? Okay, again, there are 10 steps that I talk about. Let's look at them. Create strong brand fundamentals, which include the brand purpose, vision, mission, and core values. Number 2, work on understanding your audience personas by figuring out their archetypes. Number 3, create your brand persona, voice, and tone by aligning your brand archetype with that of your audience. Number 4, create a brand story with the proper elements such as creed, icons that resonates with your audience. Number 5, craft a message framework that is based on these brand fundamentals. Number 6, invest in creating a brand identity that is professional and matches your brand strategy. Number 7, invest in building a website that acts as a powerful sales tool. Number 8, spend time, effort, and resources in building powerful social media channels. Number 9, figure out a marketing strategy that aligns with your brand strategy, not the other way around, because a lot of people do that. Always be building your brand. That's number 10. So this video has been running quite long, so I just rushed through those, but read this article in detail. Ask me questions and I'll try and answer them. But number 10 says it all. Always be building your brand, right? Not always be trying to drum up sales. Think long-term, not short-term. Okay, so ask any questions and I'll try and answer. I hope you found this video useful. I know I went on a bit of a rant. I am angry, yes, of course. Not generally angry, but I'm angry when brands are sleeping, right? And that's why our creed is awaken your brand. Our creed, our ethos for Spellbrand, for me, is awaken your brand. Awaken. And that's what our entire strategy is based on. So let me know what you think in this video. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and subscribe right now. Like this video, hit the bell icon because the next video is coming up. I think I'm on a roll. I know it's just one video after, the first video after 2 months of no videos, but I feel like I'm on a roll. I feel like there's lots of things that I can talk about, but ask me questions and they can then become ideas for videos and so on. All right. Till the next video, build your brand, awaken your brand. All right. Take care.